Okay, this is second time filming because I got to the end of the whole thing and my iPad died, and then when I came back on to see if I could just, you know, add on the ending, my cat's now here. Come over then. Just say hi. Because it died, it didn't save the recordings. That's fun, so we're going to start all over again. So hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a light-hearted one. Today's video, quite funny actually. Well, looking back on it, it's funny. At the time it was not funny. But looking back on these things, and I'm not sure if I can blame them on my eye condition or just me being a clumsy person. Probably a bit both. But I'm going to be discussing some of the times that I have unintentionally injured myself. Is that how we've got to put it? I don't know how to describe it. Times I've hurt myself, and this could be due to my eye condition. These are things that could have been because I didn't see things, and some of them are, but also I am just a naturally clumsy person, so I can't really blame it all on that. I'm just going to get into it. If you like it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. Yeah, let's talk about me falling over. Woo! I'm just going to talk and he'll go wherever he wants to go. So, for the 2 eggs on my head, I'm a little bit insecure about my forehead because I think it's quite big because I've cracked my head open twice. So like I have 2 eggs on my face. So the first 2 are how I got them. So the first one was, I was going to Colchester swimming pool. We went with my brother, my mum, and then some family friends. And I remember that we'd got out of the car, everything was cool, you know, we'd got there safely, got out of the car and started walking to the building. Me being me thought, no, this can't be this smooth, like something's got to happen. So I fell up a curb and smashed my head on the ground. Now the curb, to be fair, was all like rubbly and everything, and I couldn't see that. So I tripped up that, like I said, smashed my head on the ground. I think I was about 7, and we went in and saw like a first aid person. I felt quite dizzy and I felt quite sick. So I went and laid on this bed thing that they had, and they put ice on my head and, you know, like sort of patched it up kind of and everything. And it was like, how do you feel? And me being me, just wanted to go swimming. That's all I wanted to do. So I was like, yeah, I feel fine. Went and got changed, went and got in the pool. About 10 minutes later, I felt really sick. If you don't like sick or thought sick or anything like that, just pre-warning you, it's going to come up a couple times in the video. No graphic detail, but I know that sick is like one of my phobias, so like I just want to put that out there for anybody else. But I got in the pool 10 minutes and started to feel really ill. So, you know, I got out to go and speak to my mum, and I got into the shower and I just threw up everywhere. At that point I started going really, really dizzy and like in and out of consciousness and everything. So saw my mum and got in the car, and I was not there at this point. I was not really there. I was just asleep and unconscious one minute, and the next minute I was awake and was like, oh, where are we, and everything like that. And we were obviously in Colchester. Now we know Colchester, but not well enough to get to the hospital from where we were. So, or what I think I remember is mum grabbed someone off the side of the road, like rolled the window down and spoke to them and was like, we need to get to the hospital. So I thought she got in the car and sat like in the middle seat on the back, and I was in the front, and I thought she got in and directed us, but apparently not. Apparently she just gave us directions and we went. Got to the hospital, and in the car I was going in and out, thinking she was in the back. I was obviously going in and out of consciousness and everything, and mum was saying, no, don't, like, stay awake, stay alert and everything. Stay alert. God, she predicted what Boris was going to say. Got to the hospital. They gave me like a McDonald's and a bottle of Lucozade, and being like 7, I was like, oh, what a treat, what an absolute treat. They were like, you're gonna have to stay in overnight. So they put me in the hospital bed. I had like wires and tubes and all of that sort of stuff in me. And they were like, do you want your mum to stay? And I was like, yes, I want my mum. So she slept over. Oh wow, it sounds like we had a real fun time. She slept in the hospital with me as well. I remember I didn't get a wink of sleep that night because they just came in obviously like checking on me and everything throughout the night. So Went home the next day. So that was how I got one half of my forehead massive. So how I got the second half of my forehead massive was this story. So I was in Alton Towers with my brother, my mum, my dad, my auntie, uncle and cousin, and we'd gone, you know, we'd gone for like a few days, go to the theme park and also the water park. And I want to say I was about 11 at this point. My dad dropped me at a ride and it had like 2 entrances. So, well, actually no it didn't, that's a lie. I thought it had 2 entrances. It had one going that way and then one going that way. And the one going that way had like the rope, the pole, like the chain thing to stop you going down there. And then the one going that way was clear. Now, obviously that chain is, you know, to prevent people going down there. Well, I couldn't see the chain, so it didn't prevent me going down there. Well, it kind of did actually, because I bolted down this like track thing. Thought I was going to be joining the queue. Instead, I done a few somersaults over this chain and landed on the floor with a massive bang to the head. And I remember at that point I passed out. When I woke up, I was in this strange woman's arms. She'd come and picked me up off the ground and she was carrying me to my dad because she obviously saw my dad and my dad had walked away. So she obviously saw who my dad was and who had dropped me off at the ride and then took me to him. And then he obviously took me to the rest of my family. And my auntie was like first aid trained. So she was like sort of like, oh, we need to get water on it and everything like that, and was like sort of trying to calm me down and sort out the massive thing going on up there. And then the people where we got the water from called the Alton Towers vehicle that would take you to the hospital. And I went to like their Alton Towers hospital. I sat there and like everybody came and I felt really bad because I was like, I've ruined your day. So my auntie and uncle took my cousin and my brother on, I think they left after a little while, I took them on some more rides and my mum and dad stayed with me. And I remember I was laying in the bed and I was feeling like quite dizzy and in pain, obviously, because I had like a head on top of my head was the size of like the bump. As they were talking about like sick and everything, I then threw up. And they were like asking me questions like, is this your first time here? Have you ever been to Alton Towers before? Have you enjoyed the park and everything? And I was like, yeah, it's my first time. One of them was like, okay, I'm gonna be back in a minute. And she'd gone. And anybody that knows me knows my love for teddy bears. Like even at almost 18, I love them. She came back with this bear, as you can see. It's got the Alton Towers like logo thingy on his neck. And yeah, she came back with this because it was my first time at the park, and then like I'd done that, and that was sort of it. I remember that the next day we went to the water park and I felt a little bit unwell. I think I still went in the water park. I think. My memory is shocking though, so I can't vouch for that one. But if you do crack your head open at Alton Towers, this is what you will get. So, if you think about it, I may have got a big bump from it and, you know, like an added bit to my forehead and everything, but I also got him. So yeah, why am I complaining? So they're the 2 stories on how I got like my bigger forehead with the bumps and cracking my head open and stuff like that. And then how I done my chin. I basically have a scar from when I had to have stitches in my chin because we were down Felixstowe. I think I was younger than the pool one. I think I was younger here. I was running down Felixstowe, and this one I can't blame on my eye condition. And I fell and I split my chin open. I had loads of tissue under my chin to sort of hold my chin there and to try and reduce the amount of loss of blood. And they took me to like the hospital and then I had to have it stitched up. So I've still got that little scar there. I really think that doing all this falling over is probably why I say some of the things I do, or like think some things or forget things, because I just knocked so many brain cells out of my head. Really? Yeah, that's what we'll blame it on. I'm not thick. I just knocked brain cells out of my head from falling over. Cool, on the same page now, guys, cool. The next one, we were gone on holiday with my family and my grandparents, and we were at Cyprus, and they were all in the sea apart from my granddad and myself. And I wanted to go in and join the fun, you know. I mean, I don't really like the sea, so I was just going to either paddle or like get in one of them rings and just sit. But I wanted to go and join in. So I got my ring, started walking down to the sea. I fell over. I thought I'd just fallen over like a mountain of sand type thing. But this one makes me squirm. I don't know why, but there was a rock underneath it which I couldn't see. I just got up after I'd fallen over. I didn't think anything had happened, like nothing felt weird. But when I got to the sea, I felt a massive pain because the sea had obviously washed over my feet. And I remember I looked down and it makes me feel really ill. My toenail had like come off and was holding on by a thread, and there was just blood pouring out everywhere. And I remember I then started to cry and panic. So I ran back up and like got my granddad and was like, "Granddad," like telling him what had happened and everything. And he, at the top of the beach at Cyprus, they've got these like taps that you wash the sand off before you walk around up near the pool area and everything, so you don't carry sand everywhere. We was washing my feet under there, and I was in so much pain. I was crying, there was blood, and it was like I felt really ill. But the lifeguard on the beach had seen me fall over. He saw me get up and carry on towards the sea, so he thought I was fine and I thought I was fine until like it was washed by the seawater. He then came over and again, this is just a positive ending really. I had a lifeguard carry me off the beach. I mean, he wasn't bad looking either. This lifeguard came and carried me off the beach and put me on like one of them sun lounger things on like the grass area. They then rang reception and was like, "Oh, blah, blah, this has happened, blah, blah, blah. We're going to need to get her to go to the hospital, etc." because they weren't sure if I'd broken my toe. And then this other lifeguard that was around the pool, he came and picked me up and carried me into the like lobby area. And I was like, wow. Wow. I mean, at that point, I kind of forgot about my toe. But yeah, so these two lifeguards had carried me, not at the same time, one from the beach to the chair and one from the chair into the lobby. Anyway, carried me in. They then called like a taxi and they took us to the hospital, which was, I think was like a 15-minute drive. And I went in and I hadn't broken anything, but they weren't sure really what to do about my like the nail and the skin and everything that had come up. So they strapped it up and I couldn't get what they'd strapped up wet. I wasn't allowed to. So I didn't go in the water for any more of that holiday. It was just really painful. It's weird because it only felt painful once the water had washed over it. I'm guessing maybe because of the salt, but that's sort of that one. That was quite painful, but then, you know, you get carried off the beach by lifeguards. So the next one is the one where I'm really surprised I didn't break a bone or didn't do more damage, because this is just a bit crazy. So I just gone to the pub down my road with my family and then our family friends that are also like my godparents now. I was running in the Crown car park. Now I want to point out that the car park was very rubbly, as like every car park is, but that's just me trying to make excuses for myself. But I was running with the son of the other family. So we had started doing some running. We'd got to the end, I mean, we're coming back towards the cars, and I'm guessing we were racing. I was running, but what I couldn't see was that one of the cars before our cars had a tow bar, which obviously stick out. So me being me, decided to run into the tow bar and fly about 2 meters in the air and 2 meters across. And I landed on the ground. And I remember I had like obviously cuts and bruises and stuff on my body from what happened. But we all sort of think like how I didn't do any more damage. I was 11 when this happened. But yeah, that was probably the one that hurt the most. Maybe it's because I remember it. Because obviously the ones hit my head, I don't remember all of it because I was like in and out of consciousness and everything. But this just hurt a lot. But then I am just a clumsy person. And I still fall over a lot today, but it's so much funnier now. Obviously, because when you're younger, you like fall over a lot of the time. I just done it a hell of a lot. You can laugh at it, and I just laugh now. When I fall over, I'm like, wait, we've gone down again? Are you serious? But it's funny. If you did enjoy if you want to hear more, because there's so many more. Please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below. Subscribe if you would like to. I love and appreciate you all, and I will see you next time. Bye!